creepy TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
The Disney cruise ship child trafficking ring is so much deeper than you think. If you haven't heard, a Disney cruise ship was raided in a massive child exploitation sting and 10 Disney employees were arrested. But it is so much deeper than that. Let's start in 2022. Disney employees and former judge among 108 arrested in human trafficking sting. That must be a coincidence though, right? 2021, parents sue Disney Cruise Line for $20 million over alleged essay of 3-year-old daughter. 2019.
3 years old? Come on, man.
Disney cruise worker charged with 13-year-old girl. 2014, Disney Cruise Line fails to promptly report essay of 11-year-old girl. This has happened so many times that when the news reports arrest,
Bunch of PDFs.
they just say another Disney Cruise Line worker arrested. But there's no way that the same company with ties to Epstein could possibly be running some kind of child trafficking ring, right? That has to just be a crazy coincidence, right? I don't know. I could be wrong, but unfortunately, I don't think I am.
Why isn't this all over the news?
Zelensky has no limits. Finishing war for him is a political suicide. You see?
I do. What do you think he would do to you for saying this, if he could?
Look, I'm risking everything. I cannot return to Ukraine after this interview, okay? I didn't want to put shit on him. I'm sitting here because I want peace too. And this guy is gonna come up with any condition. He's gonna change the positions all the time just to prolong this war and to get more money.
Wow. By the way, who is she? Ex-wife or personal secretary?
Katt Williams did not read the teleprompter.
Did you folks seen the Kevin Hart roast?
He is the only one on the Kevin Hart roast that did not read the teleprompter. That man came out and he did a set. And let me tell you, this is why he's always going to be better than Kevin. He actually went out there and he literally, it was just, he don't like Kevin. He talked about the Illuminati.
Yep.
He talked about him being a puppet. The stuff that he said about Kevin, he reiterated in joke form, but it wasn't a joke. How he called him an industry plant, how he called Kevin a puppet. He called Kevin a coon twice in the set.
Queen?
He said that he was in a homosexual relationship with The Rock.
Romance, yeah.
He said a whole bunch of stuff. And he didn't actually apologize. I just want people to pick, did you pick that up? He didn't apologize. He said, I said some things over the years, like calling you this. And then he reiterated with a joke. And I don't know if he really didn't, because he's the executive producer. There's no way that Regina Hall was going to introduce Katt without Kevin knowing. Especially because they've been so beefed out. Like, they've been beefing for real.
Regina didn't laugh, by the way.
Back and forth for years. And the fact that, like, they showed Tiffany, because Katt and Tiffany were beefing too. It was Kevin and Tiffany against Katt. And Katt was slaying them. All right. He called Kevin homosexual. He told him to slay queen. Like, all funny, but they weren't jokes. This is why Katt is so respected. He said, I'm the only one up
With
here
soul.
that has a soul.
Yeah.
Did anybody listen to what Katt Williams was saying? Because I don't think you did. Go back, rewatch it, and listen to how he was saying them jokes. They were not jokes. And I don't care what you say. He did not read that teleprompter. He didn't even look up at the teleprompter. He looked at the audience and he told them jokes. And he told a lot of jokes not looking at Kevin. Katt Williams. That was probably the best I've seen. First of all, that's the best one of the night because this roast is trash. But he came out there and he just watch it. I don't care what nobody say. Like, Kevin tried to stop and was like, we're going to do this in front of everybody on television live. We've been beefing out for years and we're going to squash the beef. And, Katt went in for the handshake and, Kevin brought him in for like the little bro hug and they said something to each other. And then Katt grabbed his coat and he ran out. I don't care what nobody say. If I was Kevin, I would be pissed. Everything else was scripted. Katt was not. And I don't care what nobody say. That was the actual roast.
Yep.
It was Katt.
At the end, Katt whispered, "Never," during that hug.
We found a nice package of sediment further in the cave, and that dated to about 2.5 million years ago.
Ooh. No way.
What if something buried for thousands of years, never destined to be discovered, were suddenly unleashed at a predetermined time? Beneath the Euphrates River, a secret chamber emerged after the ground cracked open, revealing an unexpected structure. Inside, researchers discovered 4 enormous chains, perfectly aligned and forged from a metal unaffected by time. But something was amiss. Nearby, a sealed vessel encased in multiple layers of metal contained a strange serpent and objects from various eras, seemingly preserved, not forgotten. Deep within, distorted carvings and a chamber constructed with unimaginable precision posed a question no one could answer. These signs fit a prophecy of the apocalypse with chilling details. Jesus warned that when these things begin, many will be caught in their sleep. So, before we go any further, if you feel something is changing, take a moment to write a short prayer. Lord Jesus, please awaken and protect us. Please stay with me, because what we discover next may change how you perceive these signs. The Euphrates River, once the lifeline of ancient civilizations, has sustained human history for over 10,000 years. Flowing through the heart of Mesopotamia, it shaped the earliest cities, the first systems of law, and the foundations of society itself. But now, something is changing. As the waters begin to recede, they are revealing more than history. Cracks across the riverbed have exposed an entrance carved with precision into solid stone, something that was never meant to be seen so easily. Archaeologists expected scattered ruins, remnants of time. Instead, they discovered a sealed underground complex, structured, deliberate, and preserved. Carbon analysis places parts of it around 2800 BC, making it one of the oldest engineered sites ever uncovered in the region. But what they found inside began to shift the meaning entirely. At the center of the chamber stood 4 massive chains, fixed in perfect alignment, north, south, east, and west, anchored deep into solid rock. The metal itself defied explanation. No welds, no corrosion, no signs of decay after thousands of years. Even more unsettling.
I'm an American. I live in a 200 square foot flat that has no bedroom. I pay almost $1,800 a month for it now. That's not including utilities. I work full time. I work 10-hour shifts. I work 5 days a week. After I get my paychecks, if I'm to take out rent, utilities, my car payment, which is a 2016 used car, if I take out insurance on the car and medical expenses for my medication, I'm left with about $50 a month to cover for gas, food, and anything else I might need, such as like toilet paper, cleaning supplies, literally anything, except going to a doctor. Like, I haven't seen a doctor outside of my psychiatrist for like 3 years now, because fuck, I can't afford that shit. So needless to say, I'm in debt. I was already in debt, but just in the last year, I've added $10K to my debt because girls gotta eat. When I made a video about this last year, I got a lot of hate for it online, people saying I need to just pick myself up by the bootstraps, that I'm not trying hard enough. But I think people in America now are realizing that, like, yeah, You're one small step from getting to where I am, to homelessness. And more people are living like me every day. Degrees don't matter here. It just matters what kind of family you were born into, I guess. If you have money, you can sit in the bank and make money. But if you're a worker, you're not really a person here. You're just an asset. And where do you go when it's illegal in some states to be homeless? Why are we considered one of the wealthiest nations? And yet we have almost 1 million people on the streets living, and we can't take care of them. Why are we starting wars and sending money to other countries
Ukraine,
instead of helping the people here? Or even just using that money for good overseas instead of fucking evil? Americans are so used to hearing fake news that most of us probably still aren't aware of how the world actually works or what history it's actually had. And most of us are just trying to get through each day. We want to leave. We want to have a better life. How do you leave when you don't have money? You know, how do you just go to a different country and not just be homeless there? How do you even get there? I'm an American, and I'm just the average American. Don't come at me for the word flat. Granny flat is a thing in the United States.
just marry me and settle down in Bali? Just kidding.
Brandon Clark is unalived, and what if I told you this is yet another one of their rituals? I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because he just so happened to get unalived during the 80th NBA season. And in Gematria, as you see below right here, Brandon Clark adds up to 80. And the Memphis Grizzlies just so happened to be the 29th NBA franchise. And Brandon Clark, what age did he get unalived at? Yeah, 29 years old. And something else very bizarre is he was unalived on May 11th. And what's important about this is he was unalived in Los Angeles, California. And the Los Angeles Lakers were just eliminated 4-0, swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder that same day. Oh yeah, and Brandon Clark just so happens to have a connection to OKC, because OKC is the team that originally drafted him, and then they traded him 2 weeks later to Memphis. But what are the odds that the team that drafted him swept the Lakers in Los Angeles the same day Brandon Clark was unalived in Los Angeles? When you realize that they do these things every single time by certain codes, then you will realize how deep this stuff really is. So RIP to Brandon Clark, but this was definitely by the numbers.
Rest in peace, but honestly, what are you talking about, bruh?
They're also using something very similar to that tech in Iran for the super soldiers, where they're jumping out of planes at night with no chutes, no parachutes. And they plummet to the ground. They have a suit on. And as they get close to the ground, it deaccelerates them till they gently land on their feet. And then it starts putting a gravitational force behind them that pushes them, and they can get to running 90 miles an hour. And then they can see down through with their ground penetrating vision eyewear they have to where the tunnels are, and they can run through the ground. It phases them so they can run right down through the ground into the tunnel, and at 90 miles an hour.
G.I. Joes, look into it. Sounds familiar.
Everyone knows the Apollo missions ended on the moon, but in the archives of a defunct aerospace contractor, a different story is being told. July 1970. While the world watched the Cold War, 3 men were allegedly launched on a one-way trip to the Red Planet. This was Project Ares. The goal wasn't exploration. It was retrieval. They weren't looking for life. They were looking for a graveyard. These grainy frames are the only evidence that remains of the mission NASA claims never happened. No return capsule was ever built. If they reach the surface, they are still there, buried under 50 years of Martian dust. Look at the shadows in the visor.
What?
Does that look like a desert in Nevada, or a world we weren't supposed to see? Tell me what you see in the comments. If you want the truth they won't show you on the news, like this video and subscribe to Neuro Abyss.
I see AI.
At around 3 in the morning, when the world was completely asleep, someone captured a piece of footage that feels deeply unsettling. The sky suddenly began flashing with an unnatural red light over and over again, like some kind of signal being transmitted, and then a red object tore across the night sky. Except it wasn't alone. More and more fireball-like objects started appearing and falling rapidly from above, but what happens next is where things become truly disturbing. Instead of disappearing after hitting the ground, these objects began moving at extreme speed across the surface as if they were searching for something, and then without warning they stretched into vertical beams of light gliding slowly across the ground, like they were scanning the entire area. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get any stranger, all of the beams suddenly converged into one point and vanished instantly, leaving no trace and no explanation. Some people claim this is something we were never meant to see, while others refuse to talk about it at all. So if you saw this with your own eyes, how would you explain it?
I don't even believe my eyes anymore. Can't tell reality from AI.
New Orleans. People look at this as like a haunted playground. Why do you think that is?
Because it is. It's so powerful here that even the average person will start to pick up that something's fucking different. Above us are slave quarters. This used to be the big house, which means that there are dead black bodies underneath these bricks. That's everywhere in New Orleans. It's the history of the place.
Do you think this city attracts people that are spiritually reckless?
Yeah, most people don't even understand the value of their own spirit. It's really easy to take from them. There's a reason that there's alcohol available 24/7. There are parties 24/7.
Yeah.
During one Mardi Gras, there's a man on one of these upper floors or whatever, super drunk, falls over the railing and splat on the ground. And you can see blood running out of his ear into the soil.
He gave a spirit?
Directly to the land.
Oh, people be saying there's vampires there.
Guys, I want to talk about Beyonce, Blue Ivy, and Jay-Z's look for this year's Met Gala. So Blue Ivy, mind you, is under 18. And normally Met Gala, you have to be over 18 to even attend. Now, she shows up with Jay-Z in this white dress, sunglasses, and shoes with a flower that match Beyonce's skeleton gown. Now, all of this matters. It's not random. Now, the white could represent innocence. The sunglasses could represent blindness or being led blindly into something that you cannot fully see clearly. And then the shoes blew me away because if you look at Beyonce's outfit, which was all skeleton, her actual shoes she wore were a flesh color. And Blue Ivy's shoes matched perfectly to Beyonce's dress. Now, Jay-Z was in all black, and it was like he was the handler handing her off to Beyonce. Now, a lot of people have looked at Beyonce's outfit and compared it to the queen of the underworld, representing death, even down to the feathers starting light and going darker, which could represent a fallen state or fallen angels. But then we get into her second outfit, which was called the stargazing dress, which, I mean, do I even need to go into what this looks like? But to me, if we look at the word stargazing, that usually represents witchcraft, divination, seeking knowledge from entities outside of the creator. So stargazing was forbidden because they were using astrology and they were seeking out other entities for their knowledge, for their wisdom. They were not going to the creator himself, but they were going to the created objects. They were going to these other entities to gain status, to gain wisdom. Now, if you look at this whole picture of all of these outfits, amongst all the other outfits we saw at the Met Gala, all I can say is the deception is high. Everything is being put right in front of our faces. And looking at this entire picture, it looks like innocence being led into the darkness unknowingly. I mean, even the blindness is being exposed, but the people that are being led, they literally cannot see what they are being led into. What do you guys think about this? Put it in the comments below.
Over the shoulder! Turn! Beyonce right there! Beyonce! Get on with that!
Back to your elbow.
Blue is part of them now, because Beyonce says blue's ready.
Cologne Cathedral is a Gothic masterpiece that took 632 years to build, located in Germany. It's the third tallest church in the world and the tallest twin-spired church in the world, reaching a height of 157 meters. Use of mattresses helps to maintain the building and allows the number of windows to be increased for more light. The ribolts with pointed arches allows the walls and pillars to be thinner, distributing the forces in such a way that the ceiling supports itself. All these techniques made it possible to build cathedrals that were much taller than ever before upon its completion. In 1880, Cologne Cathedral reigned as the world's tallest building for 4 years until the Washington Monument was completed. Inside it contains the sacred relic of the biblical Three Kings, which has made it a place of pilgrimage since the beginning of its construction. Despite being bombed during World War II, Cologne Cathedral survived and stands as a testament to human ingenuity, perseverance, and faith, dominating the city's skyline.
It's not human engineering that kept it standing after, it was bombed.
For us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me.
Oh my gosh.
From the future.
Yeah, that would actually make sense.
47 is present plus 47,000 years.
Okay.
P52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a
When?
scenario in the near future.
Yeah, when?
It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
Wait a minute, but what exactly happens when and how do these humans from the future look like?
Right. Ugh. That's ETs.
Okay, so this is actually interesting, but it could just be AI. Let's take a look at it. So originally uploaded as the aliens that were retrieved from the Roswell crash. Wait a second.
There's a reason why Asians have small eyes and weird looking eyes.
Why?
David Cho, he said this one thing on Joe Rogan's podcast that has me thinking so much, and it's kind of crazy. It's jokes too. He said there's a reason why Asians have small eyes and weird looking eyes.
Why?
He was on like a psychedelic trip, I think. And during his trip, there's like an alien that started speaking to him and then like told him things. He's like, you know why your eyes are like that, right? And he goes, and you know why you're blue. David Cho, Forkins is a birthmark.
On his ass.
Yeah, that's blue.
I think I had that too.
You had that too?
Yeah.
So
a lot of Asians.
a lot of Asian people, when they're born, they're born with like a blue mark on their butt.
Yeah.
Now, David Cho, while he's on his psychedelic trip, he said the alien told him, the reason your eyes are like that, the reason you have blue on you is because we messed with the Asian girl back in the day and we made you.
What the
So Asians might be the closest related to aliens, bro.
I want you to take a second and guess what island this is. It's a very historic island that has changed the course of history. I will give you 4 hints. Hint number 1, what was seen on this island has inspired movies, books, paintings. It's also inspired fear for thousands of years. Hint number 2, this island is connected to one of the most strangest, one of the most mysterious writings ever written. Hint number 3, a man that was here claimed that he saw the sky crack open. See where I'm going? And hint number 4, this island alone, this island has changed the way millions of people think about the future of humanity. And here's the answer. This is the island of Patmos, the island where John wrote the book of Revelation, the island where he saw all of the visions of the end times. The words written on this island have been bone-chilling for humans over the course of history. And the thing is, it's gonna happen one day.
Yep.
An aspiring artist shares her story on how she was almost tricked into joining a cult in Hollywood. Okay. Now we already know that Hollywood is demonic and there's a lot of weird stuff that takes place. And this is just another one of those videos. Okay. I want to show you guys what she had to say about it. Plus I want to look at the 2026 Met Gala outfits just to prove how weird Hollywood actually is and why no one should ever want to aspire to be a part of this industry. Okay, or at least on a certain side of this industry. All right, let's hop in this video, watch it, and react to it. Before we do me a quick favor. Hit that like button for the algorithm so that this video can reach more people like yourself. I truly appreciate you guys. Let's hop in.
So I was almost forced to sell my soul in Hollywood. Stick with me. Stick with me. So I moved to LA about a year ago, and I came across this opportunity on my Instagram, and they were like, yeah, like, we help people, artists, actors, and everything get into the groove of stuff. Like, come, we can help develop you as an artist, all the good stuff, right? So I signed my happy tail self up, right? And I signed myself up, and I get to this building. I'm not going to disclose the name of the building because legal purposes. Okay. But I get to the building, and it's like this nice, like, church-looking, sanctuary-looking, mansion-looking, hotel-looking place. And I get there, and it's this old white man with a bald head, and he comes to meet me, and he's like, hi, welcome. You came for this event. Mind you, I'm thinking it's going to be like some type of music event. Tell me why, y'all, it's a cult. Tell me why it's a cult. Tell me why I almost joined the cult on accident. On purpose, on accident. Tell me why it's a cult. So I go there, and some of the stuff that they're teaching is kind of like, okay, I can get jiggy with it. That's okay. I don't know about that, but okay, this is kind of cool. So I'm thinking, I'm in LA. I need any opportunity, because as y'all know, I make music. I need any opportunity to get in there in them doors. So I keep going, and I end up getting like a mentor or whatever from there, y'all. Tell me why one day I go to this place. Can you hold on a second? Mommy's telling the story. Wait. I go into the place one day. And mind you, it's a lot of weird energy. And this lady who's, I don't really know what to say. I'm trying not to say too much. There's like this lady who's kind of like a handler for me, right? She's there, and I'm sitting down. I'm having a meeting. I'm learning how I can grow in my career and how I can further in advance. And mind you, these are celebrities. These are known people. These are people in the industry. And she's like, okay, so yeah, you've been coming for a few months. Are you ready to have a meeting now? I said, no, I'm good. I don't want to have the meeting. She said, and she touches my shoulder like this, and she's like, you're going to have the meeting.
What?
I said, blank, I really don't want. She said, you're going to have it. So they take me to this room, and they bring the president. They bring the president of this corporation and of this company into the room with me. And he's like, yeah, so we've been, trying to get you to do this, and this for a while. We want you to take these classes. We want you to learn about this so you can actually advance. And I'm telling him, like, first of all, I don't have the money for this course. I'm not about to pay you for it. I have a kid. Second of all, this is not important to me, so I don't want to do it. And he's, like, forcing and trying to convince me.
Okay.
So based off of what we're hearing right now, I ain't gonna lie, this sounds like a pyramid scheme. Literally. I mean, you're taking a course. They're almost like trying to influence you to join their organization. It's almost feels forced. It's not like you are excited to join it, and you got to pay for a course, and they're going to help you develop. That's a pyramid scheme. Okay, I've been a part of one before. I'm not proud to say. If anyone ever tried to sell Kirby vacuums, look, it sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. Okay, sounds like the Church of Scientology. That's what people saying in the comment section as well. All right, in which we already know how they are. Okay, and it looks like a church. I'm gonna show y'all the picture, but let's finish what she has to say, and then we can look at the Met Gala and the outfits and why you should not aspire to be a part of these industries. Okay, all right, at least the main scene, the main Hollywood scene.
Right.
You shouldn't aspire to be that, and I'm gonna show you why. Okay, but let's finish this.
This is not influence. This is outright intimidation.
They ate the baby. The maid that came out of the luxury hotel screaming, this was a few days ago, saying she saw that they ate the baby. Who? Some
Nicole
very
Kidman.
powerful family members of an actress in the hotel had a ritual, was all caught by the maid. She's gone missing. She never misses work. She's always on time. If something's happening, she lets people know that she's not going to be there. She's nowhere to be found. Her family is looking for her. Her employer is looking for her. This is the second time I've seen where somebody sees something and then comes out frantically saying that they're doing something that bad, and then they're nowhere to be found. But she states she saw what she saw and said who did it. The controversy in Mexico is getting explosive when it comes to the rituals and what's happening to the little ones, as a lot of people are getting put on blast.
This dude cracked the code and proved that NASA is lying about what space truly is, guys. Have a look at this. This certainly looks like we are looking into water. Look at the stars. Look at the patterns of the stars. They look like cymatics, like frequencies of sound pitched into water. This looks like the waters above, as mentioned in the Bible, the Quran, all religious texts, all of our ancestors told us, as above, so below. The firmament above is full of water. Cymatics. This is what we're looking at. Now, Nikola Tesla said it himself. If you wish to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration, including the stars. The stars are
Those
within
look like angels.
Waters above the firmament. That's why we see rainbows. Rainbows always take on the shape of the reflective surface that it's reflecting off of, a dome shape. That's why they are arched. You're seeing it clear as day right now, guys. Don't listen to NASA. If you study your ancient ancestors and the Bible, this is exactly how they depict the earth. The waters above the firmament. That's why the sky is blue, guys. It's plain as day. This makes so much more sense. And it's right in front of your face. The evidence is right there. I just showed you. Everyone asks, why would they lie about it? They're hiding God's true creation. They want you to think that you're insignificant, that this all came from a big bang, that there's no, meaning to life. That couldn't be further from the truth. You have a creator who cares about you. This creation is divine. Once you understand this creation, you take your true power back. This is why they poison the air, the food, and the water supply, to keep you in a lowered state of consciousness so you don't know the truth. And so you always will stay a slave in their system. That's why it's never been more important to take your physical health back, to detox from all the madness.
Did you all see this video going around of Dana White? This video is very strange when you actually look at the background and see what is behind him in this video. Again, this is some very bizarre stuff.
Ooh.
And one has to wonder, why would stuff like this be in the background? But I guess there is nothing to see here. I guess this is just art, right?
It looks like some girl getting essay.
The image on the right side of your screen, with the
on the
butterflies. If you know, you know. All you have to do is look and you will see things for what they truly are every single time. But again, this is just art, right? Even the image on the left side of your screen is very bizarre. And again, one has to wonder why this stuff is behind him. One has to wonder this. Again, this is just some strange stuff. What do you think about this?
Taken by a passenger on a Delta flight bound for New York City shows a powerful storm over Oklahoma, where a tornado hit the city of Enid. Passenger Ben Levine tells CNN, quote, "Our route went way south to Oklahoma to go around the line of storms." The rerouting, confirmed by CNN, resulted in what he described as an incredible view of the Enid storm.
Pure evidence that there's God.
If they never asked for your side of the story, then the side they heard is exactly how they feel about you. And that tells you everything you need to know. People who truly care will seek the truth. And they'll come to you, ask questions, and try to understand. But those who jump to conclusions, who accept rumors as facts, were never really on your side to begin with. You never explain yourself to people who are already dedicated to misunderstanding you. Mm-hmm. Some people don't want the truth. They just want to believe what fits their version of you, what fits their narrative.
Yeah.
No matter how clearly you speak, they'll only hear what they want. Mm-hmm. So stop exhausting yourself trying to be understood by those who choose not to listen. You owe no explanations to those who never gave you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. The ones who truly matter won't need convincing. They'll see your heart, your intentions, and your truth without you having to defend it. So let them talk. Let them believe what they want. You just keep walking in your truth. And because at the end of the day, the people who are meant for you will always make the effort to know the real you. Drop a 100 if you are done explaining yourself. Share this with someone who needs to protect their peace. Tag the people who always stand by your side.
Yeah, man. Walk away. You don't have to explain anything.
President Trump, as you know, is vowing to release more than 45 videos and UFO files. And you have said, quote, you would be up all night if the things that I've seen are released. What are you talking about?
Well, again, I'm in a skiff when I view these things, or we're not allowed to talk about it. But I think America deserves to know. There's we've had testimony. You've seen 11 people have either died or disappeared that have been close to this issue, whether that's a coincidence or not. I mean, if there was 11 members of the media like yourself disappeared, we have 11 barbers or 11 rabbis. I don't care. I think America would demand some answers. And for some reason, this is people are kind of hands off with this thing. But I think that I'll just say this. It's not about little green men or flying saucers. It's about what we're spending tens of millions, possibly billions of your dollars on. And we deserve transparency.
You mentioned the 11 scientists and high-ranking people with national security clearance that have all disappeared. You've said that intelligence agencies are thwarting your investigation into them. What do you mean by that?
Well, we're just not getting any answers. Everybody says there's nothing to see here. And then, I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, people leaving their house without any identification. One person took their pistol in their holster, but no identification. And you don't find these people. You can't, it's difficult to go down a street in Knoxville, Tennessee without some camera, getting your picture somehow to somebody's front porch or something. And yet these people are disappearing and they all have a tie-in in this, I won't say this industry, but in this research. And I think it's time and I'm glad the president is taking it serious.
Yeah.
And I hope that he comes forth with this stuff and just lets America know, because, you have one group in these alphabet agencies telling you something exists, and then you have somebody else in the same agency to say that they don't.
Nothing coincidence. I think it's about unlimited free energy.
If your favorite soda is Coca-Cola, you need to listen to this video. $1.1 billion deal with Microsoft and Coca-Cola. But why would they do that? This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you're drinking Coca-Cola right now, you should probably save this video and watch it again. Curious to know your thoughts in the comments section.
Raise your eyebrows.
Coca-Cola just signed a 5-year, $1.1 billion deal with Microsoft.
Why?
5 years ago, it was discovered that there were fluorescent nanoparticles in Coca-Cola. Now, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I might think there were more to this partnership.
Now, according to reports, Microsoft and the Coca-Cola Company have announced a 5-year strategic partnership to align Coca-Cola's core technology strategy system-wide. So it is said to enable the adoption of leading-edge technology and foster innovation and productivity globally. Using Azure Open AI service, Coca-Cola is currently exploring the use of generative AI-powered digital assistants. Now, did you know they have found nanotechnology in Coca-Cola and in Pepsi products? Have a look at this. The biodistribution study in major organs indicated that the NPs were easily accumulated in the digestive tract, and they were able to cross the blood-brain barrier and dispersed into the brain. Questions, and of course suspicions, have been raised in recent years.
Coke is very good toilet cleaner. Leaves your bowl sparkling.
Most of y'all have this bottle in your house and you don't even use it. I'm willing to guarantee after you watch this video to the end, you will forever use this bottle. This is not medical advice, but this is for educational purposes only. Hydrogen peroxide hacks from the 60s that scientists now say were genius. Did you know this about peroxide? Let me know in the comment section and share this with someone you love, care, and respect.
The oxygen penetrates under the nail, and fungus cannot survive in a high oxygen environment. Fungus is anaerobic. It dies in oxygen. That is basic microbiology. And it was known in 1935 for ear pain caused by wax buildup, not infection. Wax a few drops of peroxide tilted into the ear, left for a minute, then drained onto a towel. The wax softens and breaks loose. Safe, simple, and free. And that is only the medicine cabinet. We have not even walked into the kitchen yet. We have not even opened the door to the laundry room. We have not even stepped outside into the garden. Because once you see what this bottle does in the rest of the house, you are going to start looking at your hardware store receipts very differently. Now, if you already own a house and you are thinking this only applies to people building from scratch, stay with me. Because this next part is specifically for you, and it is the part I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. If your house was built before 1980, and especially if it was built between 1950 and 1975, you are almost certainly dealing with 3 problems right now that a bottle of hydrogen peroxide handles better than any modern product on the shelf. Problem number 1, mold in the bathroom. The grout lines between your tiles, the caulk around the tub, the dark corners behind the toilet where you can never quite scrub everything clean. Those older bathrooms were built with porous materials that newer bathrooms do not use. Grout from that era, especially the cement-based grout, used heavily from 1955 through the late 1970s, soaks up moisture and feeds mold spores for years, decades even. Standard bleach kills the surface mold, but it does not penetrate the grout. You scrub, the surface looks white for about a week, and then the mold comes right back because the roots were never touched. Peroxide does penetrate. You pour 3% peroxide directly into a spray bottle, spray it heavy on the grout lines, let it sit for 10 minutes. You will see it foam wherever there is active mold. Then scrub with an old toothbrush and rinse with warm water. Do this once a month, and the grout in a house built in 1963 will look the way it did the week it was installed. I did this in my own bathroom, which was original from 1971, and I have not bought a specialty mold product since. Not one. Not a single bottle of the foaming spray that costs $9 and barely lasts 3 applications. Problem number 2, the old refrigerator. Older refrigerators, especially models built before the late 1980s, have rubber door gaskets that are almost impossible to clean properly because they have little folds and pockets where food particles settle and bacteria grow. You cannot bleach a rubber gasket because bleach dries out the rubber and the gasket cracks within a year, and then you have cold air leaking and your electric bill climbing. You can peroxide a rubber gasket, soak a cloth in 3% peroxide, wrap it around the gasket, leave it for 15 minutes. The peroxide kills the bacteria, lifts the buildup, and does not damage the rubber. The same technique works inside the refrigerator on shelves, bins, and door compartments. And when you are done, there is no chemical residue sitting next to your food, no perfume, no dye, no mystery ingredient, just water and oxygen, because that is what peroxide breaks down into once it has done its job. Problem number 3, the old washing machine and the laundry that has turned gray over the years.
What?
In houses built before 1980, the plumbing is often older galvanized pipe that releases trace iron into the water. That iron gradually turns white fabrics dull, yellow, or gray. Bleach makes it worse because bleach reacts with iron and creates a yellowish stain called laundry stain, even on white fabric. Anyone who has ever bleached a white shirt and watched it come out looking worse than it went in has seen this happen. Peroxide does not react with iron that way. A cup of 3% peroxide added to a hot water wash with your regular detergent will brighten whites more than bleach ever did. It will not damage elastic. It will not yellow synthetic fibers.
Man, I'm going to try that.
Eat holes in your cotton shirts the way bleach does over repeated washings. And it is safe to pour down old cast iron drain pipes, which bleach slowly corrodes over the years. These 3 techniques alone, in a house built before 1980, will save you.
Man, do you know there has been a campaign against hydrogen peroxide for the past 10 years?
If you haven't heard, Elon Musk claims there are 14 government computers that send money out of thin air.
So I call a magic money computer any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, some there's one or 2 at State, there's some at DOD. I think we found now 14 magic money computers. Where
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing.
How crazy is that? See, you don't have to work for money. You can just print it out of thin air. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have a good one.
So, what are their taxes then?
This is why prayer is so important.
The rest of my missions, every mission, they used to make fun of me and call me church girl because I would pray before all missions. And I'm like, you guys are going to laugh at me, but these prayers are what's keeping us safe. And we had a lot of atheists, people who were Buddhists, and they're like telling me to my face, I don't want to hear your prayers. And I was like, well, I'm still going to pray.
Yeah.
And we never got hit. But what's crazy is that when I got in trouble because I was being a hothead overseas, I got in trouble and I got pulled off the road as a punishment. So I was angry. They got hit every single time by a bomb. I was not with them. And so one day I seen my team leader come up kind of clapping. I'm like, what's up, man? He was like, hey, can you come back out? We keep getting hit and we need your protection. Whatever you're praying, it's working. I went back out and we were never hit. And as a testament, I was telling him in the back, there's this one mission that really always sticks with me. I was falling asleep at the wheel. I was working 12 hours, sometimes 16-hour days. And I remember driving over a bomb and it did not detonate. What happened is a truck passed me and we usually wave and I waved at them. They went past me, hit the same bomb and blew up and killed 2 of the guys. Y'all, I was wild. I had speakers set up in my truck, so I used to play church music. And they used to be mad at me because I would be up in there having full-blown Pentecostal black church in my truck, playing music. I had my oil up in there, my anointing oil. I'm like, hey, you gonna get hit, but I ain't finna get hit. And you can not want these prayers all you want, but I guarantee you this, that we ain't getting touched. And we came home with 300 people, nobody died.
The lesson here is don't be afraid to pray. So often I would be in public eating and I am used to praying before I eat my meal. And I was so terrified to pray in the past because I was like, no, nobody else is praying. This is weird. Even if I'm with people who don't pray, it's so awkward. And you feel like I
don't care anymore. I just pray. I don't care.
You feel like you're sticking out like a sore thumb. And you know, what I've learned is every time you pray anyway, you're planting a seed in the hearts of the people that God wants to save.
Yeah, man. Never be ashamed of Jesus.
We see these things as embodied. We see, again, gods, demons, angels, whatever, coming to us with a body, even though they don't really have a body. It's something about the way our minds have to portray whatever it is. And that would explain the diversity and, you know, why some are tall, some are short, some look like lizards, some look like insectoids, some look like, you know, it goes on and on and on.
General McCaslin, this you know, general who worked at Wright Pat, who is apparently tied up with like the whole UFO stuff, went missing.
A retired 2-star Air Force general has vanished without a trace.
There's a community that wants to go down the rabbit hole of UFOs. Just because it's crazy doesn't mean it's not true.
And a lot has sort of transpired in terms of conspiracy around his disappearance. But one thing that he said was him relaying the information that if you wanted to understand the phenomenon, you would need to look into Greek mythology.
Yeah. And he puts specific emphasis on the Prometheus myth structure. So what he does is he takes fire, he brings it to the humans, you know, and then he gets punished basically eternally for taking a divine power and bringing it down to humanity without permission. There was probably some kind of entity,
technology,
higher power that at some point came here and either gave us something or did something or seeded something from within the military industrial complex. There are other people who have very similar lines of interest, right? Like Semivan talks about Neoplatonism. Colonel Nell talks about all of this esoteric and spiritual stuff. Jim Ryder, who was the VP of something at Lockheed. So it's not some weird one-off. There does seem to be an interest, just like we were saying before, among not just people like Hynek who are going down these rabbit holes and they become very esoteric and spiritual, but people from within the military industrial complex.
The 9/11 ritual continues. Let's get into it. Now, a multitude of things happened over the past couple days, starting with the death of the former Vice President, Dick Cheney, who died on November 3rd. who was vice president at the time of 9/11. Then we have the first Muslim mayor of New York City, Mamdani, winning the election. Then we have a plane crash, which was a UPS carrier that went down in Louisville, in which was flight 2976. Now, can anybody tell me how many victims, excluding the hijackers, died in 9/11? Yeah, 2976. Same number. Now, that was on the FBI website, but if you go to Wikipedia, it actually says 2977. If you add Dick Cheney's death, he's that last person. Now, where did this plane crash? At the Muhammad Ali International Airport. Now, who did they say that was one of the hijackers responsible for 9/11? Khalid Muhammad. Coincidence? Let's keep going. Now, in that plane crash, the Louisville mayor stated that there was 9 people that got killed and 11 others injured. What? And this thing just keeps going because the type of plane it was decommissioned from the passenger service on October 26, 2014, in which from the time it went down, 9 days, 11 years. Now, going back to Mamdani, he was born October 18th, 1991. From that time to when Trump got inaugurated in office this year, it was 33 years, 3 months, and 3 days. You mean to tell me that the tower stood 33 years before they fell? And let's not forget that Trump is from New York. Not to mention that UPS plane only reached 175 feet before crashing, right? You guys, that's the same flight number as the second plane in 9/11. How? And the cherry on top, they said that second plane had a 33% load factor. Got it. If you guys don't think that we live in a matrix by now, I can't help you. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube Maverick Approach and let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
I like the way he connects the dots.
Hidden inside the walls of your home in Japan, imagine finding a Virgin Mary statue that was 300 years old, and evidence of a terrifying past that many would call inspirational. Your ancestors worshipped a forbidden religion. In a remote village in Kyushu in the 1930s, a family was renovating their ancestral farmhouse when they knocked down a wall, only to be surprised to find a statue that was half Virgin Mary and half Merciful Mother Kannon, who is a Buddhist deity. They then realized the shocking secret that their ancestors were hidden Christians in a time when being caught as one in Japan meant the most severe punishment. 412 years ago, Japan declared Christianity as a threat to national security and banned it completely, partially because Spain did utilize Christian missionaries to colonize and extort money from the Philippines 50 years prior. But Japan's hunt for Christians within their borders from then was abysmal. Authorities would force citizens to stomp on bronze Christian relics called fumie, and any who refused would be sent to heaven. So, those who continued to worship did so in absolute secrecy. One tactic was to disguise the Virgin Mary statues that were worshipped as the Buddhist deity of mercy, Kannon. Secret communities would then risk everything to worship together for 251 years. Which is why all over Kyushu and Nagasaki, where an abundance of this happened, half Mary, half Kannon statues were found inside walls, under floorboards, inside of hollow Buddha statues, and many of them can now be found in the 26 Martyrs Museum, where these stories are recorded, often anonymously, I guess in case there's any remaining kind of stigma from your family having worshipped a forbidden religion.
Check it out, family. 2026. I told y'all the veil is gone. Somebody sent me this in the DMs on TikTok.
What is that?
And showed me that they was just walking at Mother Nature, minding their business in California, April 18, 2026. And they spotted this right there. Yeah. Spooky, right?
So blurry.
I also been showing videos prior to this situation of me encountering a light being or whatever y'all think it is. Y'all let me know. But from my perspective, in this video, it's giving feminine energy. But that's just me. But anyway, on Phono Grave, shit is crazy.
You know, I heard people said forests are getaways and homes for many spirits.
Now, the Sierra Nevadas is not the only California mountain range that has these dark watchers. The stories originally were recorded along the Santa Lucia Mountains, where tales were told by the Chumash people about these dark watchers. In the 1770s, Spanish missionaries reported Los Vigilantes Oscuros, watching them along today's Camino Real. And even John Steinbeck, in his short story Flight, published in 1938, makes reference to what he calls the Dark Watchers. In Steinbeck's story, Pepe flees to the mountains to escape persecution for murder. While in hiding,
Pepe looked suspiciously back every minute or so, and his eyes sought the tops of the ridges ahead. Once,
On a white barren spur, he saw a black figure for a moment, but he looked quickly away, for it was one of the Dark Watchers. No one knew who the Watchers were, nor where they lived, but it was better to ignore them and never to show interest in them. They did not bother one who stayed on the trail and minded his own business. Steinbeck's inspiration came from his mother, Olive Hamilton Steinbeck, who was a firm believer in the Dark Watchers, the mythical, tall, shadowy figures in California's Santa Lucia Mountains. As a teacher in Big Sur, she often would leave offerings of nuts, fruit, or flowers in Mule Deer Canyon, and claimed to often find flowers left in return.
Get Out told us exactly what the elite truly desire. In the movie, we learned that the 1% of the 1% are a part of an elite group called the Order of the Coagula. They lure unsuspected people and put them through a ceremony that allows them to steal their youth. While the film serves as a powerful metaphor for systematic racism, beneath that surface lies a deeper exposure. The elite's desperate desire to avoid death like the rest of us, and how they exploit the vulnerable to achieve that goal. If you have been paying attention to the files released earlier this year, you know that this level of organized exploitation is grounded in reality. Today, we are continuing our journey of finding the truth in movies by decoding Get Out. By the end of this episode, you will realize Get Out serves as a direct peek behind the curtains. In Get Out, Chris Washington visits his girlfriend's parents' house to try and win them over, only to uncover that they have already selected him for a highly disturbing and specific purpose. After being practically forced into a hypnotherapy session by Missy, Rose's mother, the weekend rapidly descends into total madness. Missy pulls out a teacup and begins stirring it, sending Chris into a deep, paralyzing trance. With 2 simple words, she successfully traps his consciousness in a dark, metaphysical void she calls the sunken place. Chris eventually discovers that Rose functioned entirely as a scout, actively luring him into a carefully orchestrated and sinister trap. This directly mirrors the exact system of control we have watched unfold in the real world from the recent unsealed files. More importantly, he learns that Rose's elite parents operate as apex predators, harboring deeply terrifying intentions for his physical body. The couple belongs to a heavily secretive, ultra-wealthy syndicate known as the Order of the Coagula. They achieve their version of immortality by luring in younger targets to literally harvest their physical vessels. They execute this through a strange, horrifying surgical ceremony, completely erasing the original consciousness by transplanting the brain of an aging Order member directly into the younger person. This obsession with living forever extends far beyond the plot of the movie. We discover these exact same core ideas operating within the unsealed files and openly championed by real-world billionaires. Right now, the ultra-wealthy are actively funneling billions of dollars into secretive startups that promise literal immortality. We see massive tech titans funding research facilities dedicated strictly to cellular reprogramming and biological age reversal. They are building private longevity clinics and subjecting themselves to extreme medical regimens to cheat natural human decline. The Order of the Coagula utilized a terrifying surgical procedure to hijack the physical vessels of their targets. These billionaires are attempting to halt the aging process altogether. They view death as a simple technical problem that they can buy their way out of, pouring endless resources into biotech firms designed to keep them at the top of the pyramid permanently. The horrifying entitlement seen in the film perfectly captures the exact mindset driving the modern elite today. In the film, the Order of the Coagula...
Yeah, I've seen this movie. It's really twisted.
Torino is a very dark place. It is the intersection of 2 witchcraft triangles across the earth. So you've got the black magic triangle and the white magic triangle. Black magic triangle is London, San Francisco, and Torino. The white magic triangle is Prague, Lyon, and Torino. So as the apex of these 2 witchcraft triangles, it has earned the reputation of being the witchcraft capital of the world. And it was very intense. So here I am. I bring 3 youth with me to this very dark place. And these youth have never been outside of the country. So we had some intense ministry opportunities, which were really good, but they're very intense. So couple days into the trip, I could tell the youth were they were missing home. I needed to take care of them. And so we decided to go for a walk. We're staying with our friends in Paceto Torinese, and they were up on a hill, and below them was just this beautiful Italian valley. I mean, just everything you think about Italian countryside. And so we went for a walk, and my focus was, I'm going to love on these youth and sure them up. Let's debrief. Let's see how they're doing. How can I pray for you? So we're going for this walk. And all of a sudden, I experience a spiritual grid for the first time. What I see are particles, objects, or beings moving away from me at high speed. And I liken it to the scene in Star Wars when the Millennium Falcon goes into hyperdrive and you see, all the stars coming at you. That's what I saw, only in reverse. It was moving away from me. And that was a first for me. Back then, I was like, what is happening right now? Well, thankfully, I wasn't the only one to discern it, which is, again, why we go out with at least 2 other people. Because one of the youth girls, she felt the movement pass through her body. Now, a sensation we all 4 experienced was the presence of this distinctive foul odor, much like a combination between sulfur and manure.
Demons.
And so we realized, okay, the Lord is showing us we are in the midst of this spiritual grid that's over this whole region. And he's calling us here to sever this ley line that forms part of this spiritual grid. And so this youth guy picked up a stick, 6 or 8 inches, tiny little stick. When he picked it up over his head, I saw this huge sword in the spiritual realm. He pulled it up over his head because he was going to cut the ley line. And he nearly fell back from the weight of this, in the physical, this like tiny little stick. And we knew the Lord was asking him to sever that ley line. And so we prayed, and he brought that as a prophetic act. He just brought that sword down and he severed it.
There is no white magic. It's all dark.
So apparently these 2 guys found the underground tunnel on Epstein Island. And the things that I saw on this video genuinely disturbed me so bad. Look at these tunnels, bro. They found like owls on the entrance. You guys know, obviously, about them paying homage to certain demonic deities like Moloch and things like that. They found these creepy, like dirty old gloves. They found chains, which I can only imagine what they were doing with the chains. And these tunnels, like, bro, it reminds me of that lady that said that she, like, years ago lived in a certain part of California because she was going to Berkeley. And she only had, like, she said it was a community where only really rich white people were able to live. She went there because she couldn't find anywhere else really to rent. And she got, like, no freaking sleep because she found out later down the line that her neighbors, like, all of them had underground tunnels. This is for entertainment purposes only before they take my video down, but they had tunnels connecting their homes, and she would never get sleep because she would consistently hear dragging, like something heavy dragging up. I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together. Banging, clanging, chains rattling, and screaming coming through the pipes until one day she heard a woman, like a blood-curdling scream from a woman. And she said, like, no. At that point, she called the freaking cops. She called everyone that she could to come out and check. All the cops did was go to the door and be like, hey, your neighbor said that you have someone chained up down there. Which obviously, at that point, she started having people like staring at her through her window, and she felt very uncomfortable. But she said that she knows what she heard. She knows what she heard. So very, very intense. She said it sounded like she was getting like waterboarded. Absolutely insane. What? And to think that there are way more people than you would think that have these kind of things going on. And I just find it crazy, the reoccurring pattern of it being underground. Remember when they said they found that underground city under Los Angeles that was abandoned and not used? We know what it's being used for. We know. But anyway, it's not the first time that guy ended up going to Epstein Island, but I guess it's the first time that he found these tunnels. And he has not posted since. Like, it's so scary. Watch his video. His name is Nico Grigg, Gri. Just make sure you guys like and follow. Comment down below what you think.
Past 2 weeks, the state of Ohio has become the epicenter of a cryptozoological event that defied simple explanation. It wasn't just a sighting, it was a flap, a rapid-fire concentration of encounters in a compact geographic area. Between March 6th and March 10th, the Greenway Highway, a corridor of forest stretching through Portage and Trumbull counties, saw a surge of activity that hasn't been seen since the famous Minerva wave of 1978. But this time the world was watching. We had high-definition trail cameras, though they strangely failed, professional investigators from the Bigfoot Society, and a digital footprint that allowed us to track the movement of what appeared to be a family group of Sasquatch.
Check it out, family. When I say 2026 shit is scary, spooky, and hilarious, I means that, because now we got ticks popping up, sparkling and shit. And this lady happened to find this tick in Louisiana. Also, I got a video at the end of this to talk about what our government is doing with these ticks, because apparently they bioengineering them. And Lyme disease is going up. So if this don't scream zombie, nigga, I don't know what else to tell y'all, because there's a lot of shit going on, y'all. And you got to be aware to be alive, and be alive to be aware. And I'm just showing y'all. But you know what I say? On funnel grade, shit is crazy.
Like Dr. Strangelove, trying to make new diseases, mixing bacteria and virus in ticks with the intent of, this is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke. You drop these insects on an enemy. It weakens the population. It ties up the medical resources, but doesn't destroy infrastructure like a nuclear bomb would.
You know, they create the cure, then they create the problem.
Why does Hollywood make motion pictures like Death Wish and Dirty Harry, always showing how regular citizens are misused and abused and tricked and deceived by their government, and then one lone guy has to stand up for what's right because the whole system is corrupt? Is there a message in that? I'll tell you why. It's very simple. These people make the movies showing you what the problem is. Then they make the movies to show you what the solution is. They know that the people of America are frustrated because there is no law and order. But that's purposely designed. We're supposed to have crime and the immorality and the drugs and the murder and all the other things that we're besieged by. We're supposed to have that. If the government did not want it, it would not be here. Believe me, this is the most powerful government the world has ever known. They had the ability to get a hold on Adolf Hitler 50 years ago. He had a standing army, the greatest navy, air force, military, secret underworld organizations operating throughout the world. But this government got a hold on Adolf Hitler because it chose to and it wanted to. And if you do not pay your income taxes, they will find you and they will deal with you. But for some reason, they're unable to get a handle on drugs and the crime in the streets. For some reason, there is a reason. There is a method to the madness.
They make movies to mock your reality.
I met this really ancient lyre, and I had a big download of geometry, but not the kind of geometry that you get here that a lot of people look in textbooks. No straight edges, no flower of life, no Metatron's cube, none of this stuff. It was all this spiralistic geometry. When I came back to Earth after it, I started understanding how to use this stuff. And I said to my missus and the kids, you know, we've got to go back to England. And they're like, no way. I knew we had to go back, so I pestered them for a few weeks. And then when we got back to England, I started seeing fairies and angels and all different beings, and they told me to write a book called Into the Light. So I wrote it. Once I'd written it, I started seeing all the geometry in the space that I got on Alpha Centauri. And then I was guided to go to mystery schools in Egypt. So I spent 9 months in these mystery schools every day for 2 hours in these classrooms. And this guy was coming out with scrolls, and on the scrolls, there were the codes, same codes that I was seeing, same codes that I got from the Lyrans. And they were showing me how to use them to heal people. So people just started coming into my life that needed healing. And I was trying it and it was working. And now I'm here, sat here with you and just helping people around the planet.
The adults are abducted and men are connected to machines in which semen is removed. And that kind of semen is then mixed with their own DNA.
Okay.
And that's put inside of a woman who's abducted. So if you're a female who's abducted, then you get impregnated. And so people go to their doctor and they say, like, what's going on? The doctor says, congratulations, you're pregnant. And the woman's like, but I haven't even had relations. I'm not interested in getting pregnant. I don't even have a man in my life. And the doctor is like, well, You're pregnant. What are you talking about?
Ma'am, you're lying.
Yeah, ma'am, you're lying. Exactly, right? So then in the first trimester, the woman is abducted again, and the fetus is removed. And that's when women go to the doctor, and the doctor is like, oh, you had a miscarriage.
Hmm.
And she's like, well, I know if I had a miscarriage. And they're usually diagnosed with this thing that pseudocyosis. It kind of says that, look, you want to get pregnant so bad, you wanted it so bad that your hormones like indicated that. So we got a false test results. And the woman's like pulling her hair out. It's like, I had no intention of. So that's one aspect, is that humans are used as a reproductive system. It mixes their DNA and ours.
When you say their DNA, what do you mean by they? Like
the
aliens?
Yes.
So it's not that they're mixing human DNA with human DNA. You're talking about alien DNA being mixed with human DNA
to create hybrids
for these abductions. Okay, gotcha.
The fetus is removed, and they're put inside of these glass containers. And I have lots of drawings of it, and you'll see that the penmanship is different. Like one guy draws it this one, but they're all the same rooms for these glass containers, and there's a liquid inside of it. Once it comes to full gestation, women are given the babies to hold. Apparently physical contact is needed to, bring it to life completely. You always have functions when you're abducted. So this function is one in which where you're in a room and you see different hybrids, and you're supposed to pick the ones that look the most human, that would be able to just go into a crowd and no one would notice anything different about them. They kind of, take DNA from hybrids and mix it again until they create something that looks very human. And now you'll pick you said that guy. These are the ones that look really human. That's one of your functions. You're under neurological control. You're calm and you answer the questions you're asked. You do what you're told.
How does he know all this?
Got Terrence Howard, who said that he invites spirits in him to play out different characters. Taraji P. Henson said it too. Woody McClain, I just did a story on him. Dames and Idris said he was calling on the devil when he reached a roadblock in acting, for crying out loud. And then when the movie was over, he couldn't get it out. He called his mom. He had nightmares. You think that these spirits are going to leave once the movie's done?
Mm-hmm.
Fools. But, people like Jay-Z and Beyonce and stuff like that, they come into a place where it's definitely witchcraft, right? Jay-Z said in his song Family Feud, I told my wife that spiritual stuff really works. And he also said in his song State of Empire that Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. So right there, those two lines, we understand that he's not talking about Christ when he's talking about the spiritual stuff. Beyonce herself, she has a whole Lemonade album. And if you watch different videos of it, she's in water. Then there's a part in the video where the door opens and water comes out. She's showing us that she's being born again into whatever she is, which we understand that she worshiped the deity Oshun, right? Which is a part of the Ifa religion, and their god is Aludamari. Not only that, but they also have another deity named Ashu, which is the deity that connects them to the spiritual. Okay. We understand it says in the word of God that there's only one mediator from man and God, and that's Christ Jesus. Amen. But to them, it's Ashu that connects the man to God, the creator, which is Aludamari for them, right? She's a part of the Ifa religion. A lot of people in the music industry is a part of the Ifa religion. 21 Savage, you got Kehlani, you got Summer Walker, you got Beyonce.
I don't think I've ever heard of this. It's something that it's if you know kind of thing. I mean, it seems like almost like an industry kept secret, this religion.
It's like African ancestry type stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's very big within Hollywood though. As far as like African Americans are involved, it's coming out now, because I'm talking about it a lot, and different people are starting to talk about it a lot. You got people who are, very dedicated. They do altars. They set up altars where they give different deities food and fruit and say happy birthday to these deities. It's pretty big. I mean, different celebrities are starting to post more about it, but it's deception.
Yeah.
And it's in its highest degree. Beyonce used to be a Christian.
Yeah.
But her drummer, Kimberly Thompson, filed a restraining order on her for extreme witchcraft. Her drummer of 5 years.
Yeah.
What if they called on Jesus?
Scientists find sharks living inside of an active underwater volcano with temperatures over 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
Come on, man.
They're playing with me at this point. Is this shit not popping up on y'all shit? Like, why is it only popping up on my algorithm?
What kind of shark is that?
Y'all be seeing this, or y'all what? Y'all see it and keep scrolling? This some type of shit you see and keep scrolling? Tell me! Look at them motherfucking Spy Kids ass sharks. This shit ain't real. I'm finna look it up. Hold on. So clearly y'all can see right here I said, hey Google, are there sharks living in an active volcano? This don't care about your feelings at all ass motherfucker gonna say yes. Specifically hammerhead and silky sharks. I ain't even know.
There's a movie about shark called Sharkano.
No goddamn silky sharks. Who the fuck that is? What, he a smooth criminal? What the fuck, he in an R&B group? Anyways, they live in an underwater volcano called Kavachi in the Solomon Islands, earning it the nickname Sharkano. This shit real. I know what time it is. Come on. Good morning, Jesus. We're back. We didn't know you had sharks and volcanoes and stuff like that. Just to clear things up. Are those technically sharks from hell? Just, you can call me back, text me back when you can, but we're all waiting for yours. In Jesus' name we pray, man. Everything makes sense. Ain't shit random. Ain't shit fake. All this shit is real and it's out there. Who trying to go in on an underground bunker with me? Serious inquiries only, y'all DM me.
Florida man arrested after opening legal vampire hunting business in cemetery. First and foremost, free phone him, cause he out there doing shit we not doing. He out there slaying shit like Buffy the Vampire. He out there being Blade while we on the internet talking. This nigga really doing some shit. Free phone him first and foremost. But that being said, what they mean in legal. So it's a legal vampire hunting business out there. Y'all gotta think about that wording. Thirdly, that I gotta say after this is vampires actually real? Cause obviously it's some shit we don't know about that they know, cause they out there hunting. And I'm gonna put this out there. I did a video a while back about an actual case that happened that the Supreme Court put out in 2005. It was about a young lady in the 1990s. She was a sex worker and she happened to come across these Russians in New York. They end up kidnapping her because come to find out she was documented and given to the government real information about this underground vampiric empire that was going on in New York City. And then don't forget that we just got a man who just said he was kidnapped by dolphins to build an underground city, and come to find out that's not a hoax, that's not fake, it's a real location. He don't have no head trauma. So for people to say that these things, these mythical creatures is not real, shut up, bitch. Where y'all think they got this shit from? You think we just making up shit? Hell no. Funnel grave, y'all. There's some shit to think about, man. 2026 is crazy.
The reality of the world is stranger than fiction.
You do know that reptilians and Draco, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten. I mean, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet, et cetera, and used for slaves in other colonies, etc.
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said.
It's far worse.
Yes, far worse.
Far worse, yeah.
And that the whole blood situation is it's unbelievable, and
right.
I don't know how we say that to the public. I don't know how. Wait a minute, just a second on that part of this whole subject. To me, if we get into that, and I know all about it, okay,
all right,
far more than you know.
Sure,
all right?
I'm sure.
So the government captured one of these native Antarctic people, or Agarthians as you call them, and interrogated them.
I mean, look, they had been studying this rogue country within Antarctica for decades, right? Of course they captured one of the natives. How else were they supposed to get any information on the place? Look, regardless, the things that they found out in the conversations that followed suit, right, were just, it puts history in a different perspective. Let's put it that way.
Wait, they were talking to this person?
Well, look.
I mean, wouldn't these people speak their own language?
Buddy, just because they have their own native language doesn't mean they don't understand others as well. Look, after they detained him, right, they figured he was going to speak in some kind of uninterpretable tongue, so they sent in a linguistic expert. by the name of Pete Richards to do the interrogation, right? And so Pete sits there asking him all kinds of different questions, right, about their society, about who they are. But the guy just wouldn't say a thing. He was completely silent, right? Up until the point where Pete pulls out these pictures the agency had taken of this country's pyramids, right? And he sets the picture down as he says, can you tell me about these? The guy didn't really budge, right? Like he didn't want to engage. And so Pete says, listen, we've seen structures like this before. He pulls out an image of the pyramids from ancient Egypt and shows it to him. And for the first time, the guy's expression just completely shifts, right? Like he was seeing something that he'd somehow seen before. And as he's staring at the image, he goes, second. Pete's just shocked this guy had finally spoke, right? And as he's just staring at him, a higher-up agent in the room quickly says, Pete, what the hell's that mean? And with a kind of just wide-eyed, shocked expression of disbelief, Pete says, it's Egyptian. It means old friend.
Bullshit.
Every 3 years, like clockwork, I re-deep dive down the lore of the Denver International Airport between the hours of 1 to 2 a.m. any given day. Doesn't matter when it's going to happen, but it always happens every 3 years. For those of you who have not been down this rabbit hole before, I'm going to take you down there with me because it's just so insane. All a legend, by the way. Have your own mind. You can make your own interpretations. Okay, we're all adults here. Maybe. Some of us. Not all of us. To understand how crazy some of the stuff they actually have inside the airport is, you kind of have to understand a little bit of the history. So the process of building this airport actually started in September of 1989. It came in to replace the Stapleton Airport, which was a perfectly fine airport. There really wasn't any issues with it. Maybe some debates about it overcrowding a little bit. Officials came in and they were like, actually, we're going to close down this airport, open up a new one, make it bigger than Boston, as well as Miami, San Francisco, Paris, and Manhattan. We're going to set the budget at, let's say, like $2 billion. They're putting a lot of money into this airport, making it massive. But this is not what happened. They ended up opening up 2 years late because they had so many construction mishaps. Several of the buildings were constructed very incorrectly, whether it was the wrong location, wrong size, a design flaw. Ultimately, instead of demolishing these buildings, which is like the normal way to get rid of a building, they were like, oh, just bury it. Huh? Ultimately, around 5 to 6 of these buildings were just buried. During the process of building, they were also hiring out a lot of different contractors. So it's thought that there isn't like a singular person that really knows the full scale and full capacity that is DIA. There's a lot of people online that theorize that maybe some of these buildings that were buried underground are being used for something else. There's a lot of people online that have said that maybe these buildings are being used for something else, such as an underground bunker. For who, you might ask? We'll get into that. By the time they were done constructing everything, the final cost was $4.8 billion. Maybe I don't know enough about airports and the things that go into it, but $2 billion over the budget seems a lot. Seems excessive. A lot of people have also commented on the shape of the airport as well, which appears to look like a very frowned upon symbol. I don't know if I can say that on here. Which I don't really see this one as much unless you're like really looking for it. But one of the designs about the place that does truly creep me out is that the whole thing is surrounded by barbed wire that's facing inwards. Almost as if you're keeping something trapped in as opposed to keeping something out. And you might be thinking, oh, that is kind of a weird construction process, but at least it ends there, right? Well, the way that they've decorated this place is really what's fueled the rumors, starting with the massive colorful murals that are inside. These murals have this eerie post-apocalyptic feel to them with a military figure and children and women looking like they're at his feet. It also looks like he's unaliving a bird in one of these. But the artist has come forward and been like, no, I didn't mean for this to frighten anyone. This is just supposed to be about world peace. I totally understand that art is very interpretive for everyone, but for me personally, and it seems like for a lot of other people, I just don't feel relaxed or at peace whenever I look at some of these images. But we are literally just scratching the surface.
Man, she speaks so fast.